Hey, my name is King. On this episode of the Otaku Experience, the producer of the upcoming Naruto live-action film says there are endless possibilities for future chapters. The One Punch Man live-action film gets a writer, and a new Genshin Impact short animated by ufotable reinforces just how good the anime will look. All of that and much, much more. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Otaku Experience Anime, not a new show where we talk about the current goings-on in the anime and the manga industry with our very uneducated opinions. Once again, I am, of course, your host, Israel. How you guys doing? All right. couple little tiny things that I need to get out of the way, okay? So, this episode's coming a little bit late, so sorry about that. That was not the plan. I meant for this to be a Sunday episode, but life had other plans. Family stuff, got a little busy. And then I went to go see Spy Family yesterday night. And so I was going to film the episode in the day, in which case I wouldn't have seen the Spy Family movie, but now I have seen it. So now I can talk about it. So I guess there's a win for that as well. But so here we are to talk about that. I hope you guys are enjoying the new graphics. Also, thank you for the amazing welcome back. It was really nice. Felt welcomed. We'll definitely talk about those comments towards the end of the episode. And another thing, Ghibli Fest 2024 starts next weekend. Is it this weekend? It's the 27th, whenever that is. That's this weekend. Starts this weekend with Spirited Away, I believe, starting on Saturday, on the 27th. That might be a Friday. Somewhere around there. It's this weekend, so if you like Ghibli Fest and you go every year, or you've never seen Spirited Away and you want to check it out for the first time, gotta go. Fun time. Me and my sister always go, so we're going to see Spirited Away this weekend, and it's going to be a great time. And that's about it. I was going to talk about the fact that I hadn't seen the Spy Family movie, but now I have seen it. And so I'm actually just going to start with a review of that. And I totally forgot to put that in my graphics, so I don't have any graphics. But you guys know what we're talking about. Let me see if I can find something real quick. All right, so Spy X Family, what is this called? Code White. Let me see if I can find something. Here I am thinking I'm all prepared for the show. And I totally forgot that I needed to do this. Hold on, guys. We're almost there. So this is the new movie that I don't think is like canon to the franchise. It might be like a soft canon rather than like a full canon thing. But I do know that you don't need to watch season 2 to be caught up, because as far as I know, season 2 is not done yet, which means that I'm trying to load up this graphic. Sorry. There we go. Okay, here we go. I got it. I'm so good at my job. Okay, there you go. So Spy Family Code White. You don't need to watch season 2, because I think season 2, I could be wrong, is only halfway done. I think they split it into 2 cores. Which is good, because I have not seen season 2 of Spy Family. And so I just went into this and I was like, well, I hope, it got too late to where I couldn't cancel my ticket. And I was just like, I guess I'm going. I hope this is good. And yeah, it's a completely standalone film. I mean, it connects to the broader stuff. There's plot lines that you get. Like, there's stuff that Anya's doing that relates to her school, that relates to the mission. Lloyd's doing stuff that you get, Yor's brothers and their things like that. It connects still, which is fine. And it's very funny. It's very, it's pretty for an anime original. It was a lot of fun. Usually, I could be wrong, but I believe this is anime original. But the problem most of the time with anime original movies in between seasons is usually you don't feel the stakes. Nothing matters, because they're going to go right into the next season, especially with shows like, say, My Hero Academia, or what's another example? Say like I don't know, like One Piece. I don't know. There's so many anime going. I was thinking Sword Art Online, but Ordinal Scale is a good original film, rather than not. But yeah, so films like that where, like, okay, this villain's gonna like threatening to destroy the world. Okay, well, that's not gonna happen, because there's 3 more seasons after this, and Deku's fine. You know what I mean? But in this show, the stakes are still pretty small, and it's almost like a slice of life. So there's funny hijinks. It's like you're watching an extended episode rather than like the ultimate climax that it's been building up to, or something like that. And it really worked for me. I really had a good time. There were definitely some jokes where I like kind of rolled my eyes. I guess you could say some of those jokes were crappy. If you've seen the movie, you get what I'm talking about. Speaking of which, if you do want to go see the movie, I do believe that it's still playing in theaters throughout this week, and then I think it's done. I know that, like all anime films, aside from like the big wide releases, it has a very limited release. And so I think after this week, it's done. So go see it this week if you can, if you want to. You don't need to have seen anything. The first like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes is like all just a setup for people who have never seen it. Like they explain literally everything and give you the entire synopsis at the beginning. So even people who hadn't seen the anime or read the manga will totally be there, totally be fine, will not be lost at all. You might miss like a couple things here and there that are like references or jokes in the show, but broadly you will not be lost at all, so you can do that. The villains I thought were pretty good. You can see the guy up there in the back. I thought he was funny, especially because he's so stoic and everybody else is so goofy. Well, except Lloyd. Lloyd's not as goofy, but you know, especially everyone else is like goofy. Him being so serious is so funny. The final battle between Yor and she fights like, okay, it's a spoiler. I'm not going to talk about it, but she fights this dude, and it is so cool. Lloyd gets kind of the emotional finale where he still is in a fight, but it's a lot less intense than yours is. It's intense in terms of the emotional stakes of what's happening, whereas yours is intense from the physical stakes of what's happening. One of the things about anime films is but this film is okay with it because, like I said, it's like an episode. The status quo doesn't change. Nothing changes by the end of this film. Like the characters don't know anything about each other. Like this isn't like a big thing. If you haven't seen the show, you can still watch it. And if you miss this movie, you can keep watching the show. And you'll be totally fine. I'm sure that after like season 2, you can watch this and it'll still be fine. Nothing will be different, and you'll be totally 100% okay with it and okay about it. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a pretty solid little film, especially considering that it's an anime original series film. Usually those don't turn out all that great, at least in my opinion. And I thought that this one was fairly enjoyable, and I had a pretty good time, and I had a good laugh in the theater. I was there by myself, and then I think there was a couple behind me. And yeah, so that was a little awkward, especially when the not so great jokes started to happen towards the end. They didn't last too long, but there was definitely a part where I was like, this is happening. Why is my brother calling me? This is not an emergency. I know why he's calling me. I'm not being a bad brother. I'm not ignoring my brother. I know why he's calling me, and it's not serious enough to warrant me answering the phone. But anyways, Spy X Family Code White is out. Have you seen it? What are your thoughts on it? Or are you going to go see it at all? Let me know. Like I said, you don't need to have seen the anime. You don't need to know anything. It totally works 100% for what it is. But anyways, guys, we're going to get into the main stories now. And now I have to reload everything up. But okay, here we go. So as we've talked about before, One Piece, I was talking about this with my brother the other day. One Piece, we kind of thought was like this great big thing that had happened. Where we were like, dude, we did it. Like One Piece saved live action anime adaptations forever. Now it's starting to feel like maybe it's cursed it, where, you know, it's like maybe One Piece being good was like the worst thing that could have happened for live action anime adaptations, because now we're getting a whole slew of them. And like with the thing I'm about to talk about, they want to try to start making, because of course they do, cinematic universes. All right. And I'm talking about Naruto. So we've been talking about the Naruto live action film. I believe this is coming from Destin Daniel Cretton, who directed Shang-Chi, I believe, which I like that movie. Good time. So I don't have any problems with that. And I don't have any problems with this movie in a vacuum and in concept. Like, it sounds fine to me. My issue is where this comes to us, or where this news comes to us saying that that they're going to try to do like an entire cinematic universe. It's like, bro, the first film isn't even out yet. How many times have we seen this strategy fail, where you're in production on the first film and you're like, dude, 80 movies, count on it. And then it doesn't happen. And then everybody looks goofy. But anyways, this comes to us from CBR, where a producer of the live-action Naruto film talks about this. So it says, a producer of the live-action Naruto movie reveals the potential of a possible Naruto cinematic universe in a new comment made at CinemaCon. So CinemaCon is a big film event where it's hosted by the theater owners, and it's for the theater owners. And the studios come and they talk about what's coming out in the next calendar year in theaters so that the studios know and they can get excited and feel confident about what's going to be put in their theaters. And they talked about Naruto. Via comic book, Naruto live-action producer Adam Fogelson briefly teased the possibility of an entire cinematic universe based around the character, with the producer revealing that there were endless possibilities for future chapters. He made the comments during Lionsgate's presentation at CinemaCon. Crunchyroll makes a case for the potential anime internationally and in theaters. As film executives recognized anime's transcendent potential at CinemaCon, one of the major names making the case for the medium was Crunchyroll. Anime fans are an incredibly diverse audience. They don't get out. I saw if you look to the sentence underneath, it says, the influence is only going to get better. I looked at don't, and then my eyes went to get. And so it made it, which is also true. Anime fans do not get out. They stay in their houses all the time. They never touch grass. But that's not what they're saying here. They don't age out. Their fandom endures. They are everywhere around you. Their influence is only going to get better, which so far, everything that they've said is absolutely true. Anime is not coming. Anime is already here. Okay. The streamer said, to sell the point, it showed the first 10 minutes of the upcoming Spy X Family Code White film and highlighted that the total anime market is projected to hit $37 billion. A recent report adds that half of the anime market is expected to come from overseas. And when they say overseas, I believe in this case, because I know that this is at a Hollywood event, which is in the US, but I believe they're referring to overseas from Japan. So this would be this would be the rest of the world, including the US, rather than not including the US and being the rest of the world. But yeah, so far everything that they've said is absolutely true. Anime fans do not get out, and yeah, but this is something, the comments I'm hearing so far, up here in the second paragraph where they say there are endless possibilities for future chapters and they want to make a universe based around the character of Naruto. These are not bad things to say. These are just things that you would say after the first film is released and is successful, purely from a business perspective. I know that sometimes I talk a lot about how things should be creatively, but then sometimes we have to put on our business caps. And that's what I'm doing here, where I just think this is a bad move business-wise. And then there is a tweet here that they have linked on the article that comes from Mini Modu that says, funny comment from the co-director of Kung Fu Panda 4. Corporations are fully aware of the appeal and success of anime, but they still choose to deliberately reject it anyways. And instead of making you read that little image right there, I have it right here. Okay. Opinion on more serious tones. Oh, so this is a question, I guess, from an interview with the Kung Fu Panda 4 co-director. Opinion on more serious tones and scenes for animated movies, like that one scene from Puss in Boots. Asking mostly because scenes like that are really something out of the norm. And honestly, I can't remember an animated movie that wasn't focused on comedy. And then here's the answer from the director. I freaking love it, especially since so many audiences these days have grown up on mature stories everywhere. I think in most bookstores, for example, the manga and anime section takes up a majority of floor space. But here's the catch. A lot of people in charge of the finances of making a movie think that audiences don't like these kinds of stories. I'm not sure why. Every time I've talked to an executive, they've told me that yes, they totally see the influence and impact of anime, an impact that anime has had on the world, but no, we will not do that. It is the highest miracle to me that Spider-Verse was made in America, which is true. Dude, Spider-Verse, I sit and think about Spider-Verse, and I'm like, I can't believe that this film got made. It doesn't make any sense to me. But, I mean, yeah, what he's saying is absolutely true. And this is coming from someone who, I've seen Kung Fu Panda 4. I didn't love it. So you know that I'm being honest when I say that dude's kind of spitting right now. This is something that, and as I am complaining about, and I'll be honest, I'm complaining about how I think that the effects of the live action One Piece may be more negative than we initially thought they would be. They're not as bad as they could be. There are still studios that are still like, we're not going to go all into that yet. We don't know. We don't know if there's an audience for that. We don't know if that's going to be all that good. And so they're just waiting to see. They're letting Sony test the waters with the Naruto and, which we'll talk about in a second, One Punch Man film. I believe Sony's doing both of those, which if so is huge. It's just crazy. It's just weird. But I could be wrong about that. They might not be doing the film, but I think they are. And then the article continues where they say, nevertheless, comments from Kung Fu Panda 4's co-directors seen above give insight into how, while execs see anime potential, many are unwilling to take the plunge. This doesn't seem to be the case at Sony, which hopes that the upcoming One Punch Man live-action film gives rise to an entire franchise. The One Punch Man live-action recently revealed its new writers, with production still underway, which we'll talk about in the next story. Naruto creator Masashi Kishimoto is optimistic about the live-action film. Given the mixed success of live-action adaptations, anime fans remain understandably nervous over the Naruto film. Nevertheless, original creator Masashi Kishimoto was bullish in his official statement, calling Justin Lee. Okay, so this is Justin Lee, and then I guess is Destin Daniel Cretton doing a... Is he doing One Punch Man? I can't keep up with these, dude. I can't keep up with these stories. And praise Lens Forte, an open-minded director who is willing to embrace my input, and praise Lens Forte for creating dramas about people. This was something that Naruto anime director Hayato Date revealed was also his intention, aiming for a period drama rather than a typical action series. Crunchyroll streams the Naruto anime animated by Studio Parrot. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So let me actually double check this. Who is directing Naruto live action? I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing. Okay, it is Destin Daniel Cretton. Okay, okay, cool. I don't know why they mentioned Justin Lee at the end there, other than just like, hey, here's a fun shout out. But here's the thing. A lot of truth is in there, which is actually good truth. This is like the first half is like not the greatest news, and then the second half is actually like, makes me feel a little bit better because you realize just how scary that all of this could have been. Like I said before, them talking about how big like a cinematic universe would be is definitely scary to say the least. But the fact that not every studio is still willing to plunge fully in is a decent. I'll take as much as I can get. I'm of the mindset that it's just slow and steady wins the race. Like, let's just calm it down and let's just slowly ease on into the pool. Okay, One Piece worked. Okay, the Yu Yu Hakusho wasn't as successful, but for what it was, it worked out pretty darn well. Okay, let's try some other things out here. Then you get the news where it's like, hey, we're doing One Punch Man, we're doing Naruto, we're doing everything ever, all the time. And you're like, please don't, please stop. Why are you doing this to me? I would like to know that the projects that you're working on are going to be good before you just jump straight into it. I would like to know that the lessons that you took away from One Piece are good lessons rather than bad lessons. I would like you to realize like, hey, maybe having the original creator involved isn't necessary to make it good, but it's a really big freaking help. So we should have them involved, not to deny every single one of their ideas, not to accept every single one of their ideas, but to have a balance. Like the author knows the story, knows the fan base, knows the source material. We know Hollywood movies. We know Hollywood audiences. Now, let's put them together, because if we focus solely on one, it might not fully work. And if we focus solely on the other, it might not fully work. So let's put it all together, and we might get something as great as One Piece. We might get something as great, or yeah, let's be optimistic. We might get something as great as Cowboy Bebop live action. You know what I mean? Because the same thing happened there, where everybody was super passionate and cared. It just didn't work out the way that One Piece did. One Piece so far is still an anomaly just because of the scale that it's at. And so I am still scared for Naruto, and I'm scared for One Punch Man, which we'll talk about in a second. But it's like, I guess I'll take it. But sticking to the topic at hand, how do I feel about them teasing a cinematic universe? It just feels like a bad business move. I don't know why they would have said that at all, other than because it's CinemaCon, just to tease the theaters with the possibility of a huge franchise, which means more movies in the theaters, which means that the theater should advertise the movie more. Other than that, I don't really see anything. They might just, what if this movie bombs, makes like $150 million and gets like a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes or something? Like, what if like the worst of the worst happens to this movie and then One Punch Man is coming? The excitement goes down for that. People aren't excited for One Punch Man. That goes down. And then, My Hero Academia live action is coming, and then the same thing, just like worst case scenario, follow me here. Like this could happen. And it feels like we're treating this as if this is not going to happen and everything's just sunshine and rainbows, which feels really stupid because of how much money they're playing with and how much future potential damage they could do than just operate at a loss at this one movie. We're talking about an entire genre of potential live action films that could happen. It's just really, really weird. I would not have made that decision. As soon as he came off stage, I would have shook him and been like, how could you say this? We're going to look so stupid if this doesn't work out and it's your fault. But yeah, it is what it is. All right, so moving on to the next story that I've already alluded to and made clear what the story is. One Punch Man is getting a movie as well. Same as Naruto. And I think it's the same studio that's doing it. I think it's Sony doing both, or Sony's at Lionsgate. Naruto's at Lionsgate. One Punch Man is at Sony. Okay. So yeah, One Punch Man is also getting a film. I am more excited for Naruto than I am for One Punch Man. I do think that Naruto, I could see that, like, if I were like an executive and like they came and pitched them to me, I would probably lean towards Naruto, which is mainly why I'm more excited for that film, just because I think I see that working better as a film, where I see One Punch Man working better as an anime. Not to say that Naruto won't work better as an anime than it will as a live action film, but in concept, you know what I'm trying to say? You know what I mean? Stop nitpicking what I'm saying. Okay, but so it looks like the One Punch Man film has finally gotten some writers, and I'm not very happy about it. But anyways, here comes to us from CBR. After a long silence, fans of the One Punch Man franchise finally have the latest update on the live-action film by Sony, with writers from Rick and Morty tapped to pen the screenplay. The new report by The Hollywood Reporter reveals that Rick and Morty creator Dan Harmon will be penning Sony's upcoming One Punch Man live-action film alongside Rick and Morty co-executive producer Heather Ann Campbell. The report highlights that the script is undergoing relights with Justin Lin still to direct. The One Punch Man live-action movie announcement shocked fans into 2021, with Venom Scott Rosenberg and Jeff Pinker first revealed to be writing the screenplay. Lin, Avi Arad, and Ari Arad Productions will produce the film, with the hope that it represents the first of a One Punch Man movie franchise. Once again, trying to build out an entire franchise rather than focusing on just one good movie. It's not like a bad idea to think about a potential of a franchise, but you shouldn't be making a movie to make a franchise. You should be making a movie. Let's hope this movie makes $1 billion on its own. And then we'll move forward from there. And you can have potential ideas, but that shouldn't be why you make it. Avi Arad is involved in numerous live-action adaptations, such as 2017's Ghost in the Shell, yay, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which wasn't that bad, and the upcoming live-action, is it live-action? Anyways, The Legend of Zelda and Naruto live-action films. So Dan Harmon, I believe they said created Rick and Morty, and has done a bunch of other TV shows that, I'll be honest, Rick and Morty is like the biggest thing that he's done, other than Community. But anyways, now I'll explain why I'm not all that excited about this, okay? When people saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and people saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, they did not like those movies, reasonably so. But those writers, while not Dan Harmon, were Rick and Morty writers. And that, I think that shows that there's a specific tone that those writers know how to write. And at the very least, the tone that Marvel was trying to go for, it just didn't work out. And then we ended up with the movies that we ended up with. Now, I will say this. I am more optimistic for this than I am for those, because this is the creator of Rick and Morty. And One Punch Man is obviously a very comedic franchise. And so this pick doesn't surprise me. I can definitely see the tonal similarities. I haven't watched all of Rick and Morty or anything like that, but I've seen a couple episodes in a vacuum here and there. And the tone's not one-to-one, but it's definitely not super crazy to make that leap. Definitely still a comedic franchise, which I would say is primarily what One Punch Man is. And then second, I would put action, but it's between those two. Very rarely does One Punch Man ever get like super serious, and like lore heavy or anything like that. Usually it introduces new characters, does fun ideas, but it does it in a comedic way, rather than like some super gritty, serious or anything like that. So considering that this movie, assuming that it's going to be very close to how the source material is going to be very comedic. If not just a straight up comedy, it's going to have very heavy comedy. Influences. And so this isn't the worst choice. But that being said, it's not a great choice. I would have preferred a different name. I don't know what name off the top of my head, but a different name would have been better. And I especially don't think that it helps with like the headlines that are coming out of this, which is like One Punch Man film gets Rick and Morty writer. Like, I don't think that helps, especially after what happened. So I think that this is another thing that's just kind of pushed this film to make me just not as excited as I should be for a One Punch Man live action film. Doesn't mean it's going to be bad. All these things could work, but they're just ingredients that I'm not all that excited about, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. It tastes like a fine 5 out of 10 film, 6 out of 10 film, but I'm not tasting something great that's going to like blow the house down. But I could be wrong, but that's the sense I'm getting based on the ingredients that are being set on the table, if you get what I'm trying to say. But anyways, guys, what do you think? Maybe you like this choice. Maybe Rick and Morty's your favorite show of all time, and you're like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard ever, and I'm so excited for this. I wish I was there with you. I'm not. But hey, it is what it is. Anyways, we're going to move on to this. So Genshin Impact is getting an anime. Everybody knows this. And it's getting animated by none other than ufotable, the studio that did Demon Slayer. And so everybody knows that this show is going to look amazing. But in case you forgot, because that announcement was like a year or more ago, they've released a new short on the Genshin Impact YouTube channel. I cannot show clips, but I can show stills of it. And it just reminds you of how good this thing's going to look. So if I'm being perfectly honest, I haven't played Genshin Impact in like a year and a half, 2 years. And so it's been a minute. I'm not caught up with the lore whatsoever. And so I didn't really care. I just cared that this was animated by ufotable. And so I watched it on mute while I had something else playing in my ears. And I just I was like, oh, yeah, looks cool. And it does look cool. And so I'm excited to see them try to condense the Genshin lore into something that's more good and hopefully not like a big old snooze fest, because if I'm being honest, the lore in Genshin is a little, if I'm being totally honest, if I'm being 100%. But anyways, so it starts off with these two little girls who are like best friends, I guess. One of them eats like a brownie or a cupcake or something like that. Like I said, I didn't hear any of it. I just watched it. I purely watched it. No listening involved. And then, it cuts to the future, and the blonde girl kills the red-haired girl, and they're like teenagers now. It's like, oh my gosh, what happened? I probably would have known if I listened to the dialogue. But anyways, then it cuts and we see like this really dark backstory, or I don't know if it's a backstory, but we see this continue to go on, and this person's really upset. And this is the blonde-haired friend. I guess they had white hair, not blonde. Then they go and they see this girl was at the beginning. She was reading like a storybook. And that was what opened this. And now they're fighting, and it was a pretty cool fight. It looked pretty cool. And then she catches the girl swinging at her, the red-haired girl swinging at her, and she grabs her hand and blocks it, and we get this cool shot. It's really cool. And then, you know, it goes to this shot where she summons like this ball of fire and like blows it at the other girl, and it's super duper cool. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, you can see it. It's really cool. It looks like a video game. And then it goes to here, and she's like meeting like some dude who's like got white hair and this big old trench coat. Might have been blue hair, something like that. But anyways, and then she finds this little boy who's crying. It might be a little girl, I don't know. And she like grabs the forehead, and we see this shot, and then the thing ends. And that's it, guys. That's all. And I don't care anymore. Like I said, I'm excited for the Genshin thing because of who's making it. I'm not all that excited. I think Genshin's a fun game, but if I'm being honest, every time it came to a little thing, I would skip it. I would skip every cutscene I could. I would skip every conversation. I would just play the game. And if I messed up, you know, the instructions would be like, hey, you need to go over there, because I wasn't listening to the conversation. So, okay, I'll go over there. But it's just fun for that reason. I was never interested in the story or the lore. But they obviously, I mean, you've seen how popular Genshin Impact is. I would have made an anime too. Even if I didn't like it, I would have been like, yeah, bro, we're making this, just because it's a smart business decision. So I'm hoping that pays off and they can find a way to condense this and take the best parts of the story. Good luck. And compile that to make a great anime that will become Anime of the Year at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards, because of course it will. But I can't say that I'm excited for anything story-wise or to see any specific character. I'm excited purely because of who's animating it, and it's just gonna look amazing, confirmed. If not anything else, it'll look and sound fantastic. But anyways, guys, did you guys see the Genshin Impact short by ufotable? Are you excited for the anime by ufotable that's upcoming? If you're not excited, like I'm not, why? If you are, explain why. What's your favorite part of the lore? Who's your favorite character from the game? And yeah, but anyways, so we're still talking about this MAPPA controversy. This isn't as explicitly a MAPPA controversy as it is something that just has the MAPPA controversy in the background, but you can just smell it all over it. And so we have, I was going to make that a lot more visceral, but I decided not to. So we have a famous producer at MAPPA named Makoto Kimura, and he is leaving MAPPA. This comes to us again from CBR. Why did my thing just do that? That's weird. Hold on. Oh, I know what I did. Hold on. Sorry. I tried to put the image in. It just did not work. I love that I know how to do this because I've been doing this for years. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So, MAPPA producer Makoto Kimura, heavily involved in the production of Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Attack on Titan, the final season, and more, has left the studio, and now he has revealed the reason why. Kimura spoke to GameBiz about his departure from MAPPA and the founding of his new production company, Blue Rights. Since joining MAPPA, I think that the things I wanted to do were realized in a pretty good way, he said. MAPPA will continue to grow, and I hope it will continue to do so. But for me personally, it would be better to leave MAPPA and work on a broader scale, both as a challenge for myself and in the sense of contributing to the industry. His comments suggest that his MAPPA departure was amicable, even adding that he hoped Blue Rights could give back to MAPPA. I should have had this ready to go. Here we go. Kimura has had one of the largest impacts in turning MAPPA into the production powerhouse it is today. He says that when he first joined MAPPA, there was no copyrights department and only 1 or 2 people were responsible for the rights. Since then, we have now grown into a department of several dozen people who are able to run the rights business, so I think I was able to contribute in that aspect. Kimura's role connected MAPPA to stakeholders such as publishers, broadcasting stations, film companies, video manufacturers, and distribution companies, and spearheaded the decision for Chainsaw Man to feature 12 different ending songs, which garnered worldwide attention. That was an amazing decision. MAPPA now owns the anime copyrights to Chainsaw Man and others. MAPPA's copyrights business puts it among the leading anime studios. The company is in the rare position of being able to self-finance, owning the anime's copyrights to Chainsaw Man and Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. That one's not that big of a deal. MAPPA CEO Manabu Otsuka says this policy saved the studio's finances. It's worth noting that the recently released Anime Industry Report 2023 reveals that 50% of the anime market derives from overseas income. MAPPA's ability to negotiate directly with streamers overseas streaming rights means it reaps the majority of it, again seen in the recent Oblivion Battery series airing as part of Crunchyroll's Spring 2024 lineup. Kimura joins fellow producer Fuka Noda as a recent departure from MAPPA, with the studio announcing a change to its management structure in early April. Noda, an animation producer on the popular Yuri on Ice and Netflix's new Mariboshi film, recently joined Chocolate Inc. While departures in the industry are common and the above two seem amicable, they follow high-profile freelancers and Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 director Sung-Hoo Park and Chainsaw Man director Ryu Nakayama, who have both made comments interpreted as MAPPA criticism. Popular Jujutsu Kaisen and One Piece freelancer Vincent Chansard recently said he would never work with them again. Okay. Now this one is a lot more like the dude chose what he was going to say really well. He made sure to not say anything that, at least in my opinion, could be taken, at least unless you like start to like try to construe it as just blatant MAPPA criticism, which is not something that is unusual to these departures that we've been seeing lately. So I think that was nice. I think that he definitely was nice about it, though I think, you know, if you like were inside of his brain and you were inside those conversations he was having that influenced this decision, yeah, it was probably a lot more like, dude, I need to get out of here. But just because of what we've been hearing on the inside of the studio, there's not much to talk about with this because he didn't like really make any claims. It was just like, hey, I'm going to go here. I'm glad with what I've done at MAPPA, and I hope that they can continue to succeed. And I'm going to go this way now. So it was a really nice little breakup. And I think that stuff like this, while still not good for MAPPA, in a vacuum are kind of just neutral. Like, hey, okay, something definitely happened behind the scenes. You don't just leave like that. And especially in this current controversy going on, definitely not good. But in a vacuum, you know, hey, this stuff happens in business. And he departed. He wished them well, and he hopes that, you know, things go well for everybody in the future. So I thought that was a really good way to handle it, even though if the true reason, at least for us insiders, we know what the true reason might be. It's not all that great. But anyways, guys, what are your thoughts? We lost another producer. Not just any producer, like a major producer at MAPPA. We've lost directors, we've lost animators. What's next for MAPPA? Let me know what you guys' thoughts on this entire thought and conversation are. But anyways, we're going to move on to the last story of the day, which is this. More sad news about the industry. We've been talking about the MAPPA controversy and things like that. Well, another thing we've been talking about for sure is AI in anime. And looks like there are experts talking about how an AI collapse in the anime industry is not necessarily inevitable, but it could be inevitable. All right. With anime, oh my gosh, my mic, you need to stop moving. Okay, well, the anime industry remains divided on how best to use AI or if it should even be used. Why does my mic keep flying around? Hello, can you stay still? Can you stop moving? Okay, good. While the anime industry remains divided on how best to use AI or if it should even be used, those already developing ethical AI solutions warn that it will fall into crisis overnight if big tech seizes the initiative for AI development. The online outlet Magmix, if I can freaking read, released a recent interview aiming to bridge the views of the Anime Association NAFCA and the Ethical AI Developer Committee Anime Chain. Both NAFCA and Anime Chain reps were open to AI, but Anime Chain member Suhei Mise, I hope I pronounced that right, explained how failure to act quickly could lead to irreparable consequences. Basically, big tech first makes large investments to create standards, then offers them at low usage fees to capture a large market share, then tightens the control, Mise explained. If things continue like this, there will be no other options, even with AI. In order to prevent this from happening, I think we need to come together domestically and create something that is easy for Japanese professionals to use and something they can use to compete. The strategy of offering something at a low cost and increasing market share before establishing dominance and effectively coercing business to fall in line or get pushed out is typically referred to as a loss leader strategy, arguably seen by companies such as Uber, Airbnb, and Netflix. Mise says that Japanese creators and developers must quickly design a system where creators can ethically opt in and be compensated for using their data. Otherwise, the industry standard will be that creators have no say in how their art is used. Anime Chain hopes that this ethical AI model will be shared with multiple studios before being refined using additional learning specific to each studio. Fellow Anime Chain member Mona Arai concluded, if we don't take action against big tech, Japan's anime industry could fall into a crisis overnight. Japanese artists on social media have been loud in opposition to generative AI, perhaps best seen when leaked messages supposedly of Midjourney developers revealed that art from hundreds of Japanese creatives was scrapped. This included One Piece Eiichiro Oda and Dragon Ball's Akira Toriyama. Nevertheless, NAFCA associate and Jujutsu Kaisen Zero chief animation director Terumi Nishi has criticized Japan's failure to act on these core issues. She cites anime village mentality, wherein everyone prioritizes harmony over taking decisive action against industry problems. And then they have this image of, I believe that this is from the Spice and Wolf music cover, where they talk about the art seemingly being AI, not confirmed, but definitely seems like it. And that seems to be the conversation going around there. So, it's even, it's infiltrated even like the mainstream stuff. Anime fans generally oppose AI, even by creators like One Piece's Eiichiro Oda. Anime fans remain relatively united on their opposition to AI use. Even One Piece's beloved Eiichiro Oda recently came under criticism for using an AI program to generate a song. Beyblade X fans similarly derided the official X account's decision to use AI art within a music video. Meanwhile, fans are currently criticizing the official Spice and Wolf account's use of AI for a new poster. Many highlighted how its supposed harmless application undermines the very industry these creators work for. Okay, now there's a lot there, and I'll be honest, I'm not qualified to talk about a whole bunch of this. Not qualified to do any of this. So that's why we say very uneducated opinions at the beginning. But I will say this. There have to be... Okay, look. There's no reality where AI just is totally like exiled and not used at all in this industry. So there has to be ways where we can rein it in and where we can use it in a way that makes the least people upset. I'm not going to say that there's ways that will make everyone happy. That's not the case. We have to find ways to make the least amount of people upset. And we need to use those. We need to find ways where the least amount of people will lose their jobs and use those to prevent the most amount of damage. I think the amount of good that this will do for the industry is smaller than the amount of damage it will do, even in the best case scenario. So I think that they really need to rein this in, because the longer this goes, the higher the risk gets of everything that they were talking about just getting worse. And that's basically my piece on that. I think the article mainly spoke for itself, and I don't think I need to add a whole bunch to it. What are your thoughts? Doesn't make you feel all that good, but I'll tell you what does make me feel good. Anime rankings. That's right, boys. It's time to talk about this. Well, usually at this point we would talk about the Goofy Woofy anime community and see what's going on. But once again, just nothing funny this week. Nothing to talk about. Anyways, we're just going to move right on into the anime rankings. This is week 2 from Anime Corner. And at number 1 was Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. At number 2 was Date Alive 5. At number 3 was Unnamed Memory. At number 4 was Windbreaker. At number 5 was Mission Yozakura Family. At number 6 was That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Season 3. At number 7 was Spice and Wolf Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf. At number 8, Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Season 2 Part 2. Number 9, An Archdemon's Dilemma, How to Love Your Elf Bride. And number 10, Delicious in Dungeon. I figured I'd stop reading all the all the big stats like that on the side, like it's at the same rank and it has this amount of votes. Like you can see it, and I felt like it was just kind of it was numbing for me to say, but I also feel like it would be numbing to listen to. So we're going to stop doing that. And I'll just, if you guys miss it, I mean, by all means, just tell me and I'll start talking about it again. But I made an executive decision. And then we have the anime trending rankings, where we have at number 1, Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Season 2 Part 2. At number 2, we have Konosuba Season 3. At number 3, we have Slime Season 3. At number 4, we have Whisper Me a Love Song. At number 5, Date Alive 5. At number 6, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. At number 7, Windbreaker. At number 8, Spice and Wolf Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf. At number 9, Kaiju number 8. And at number 10, Blue Archive, the anime. And that's it for the audience rankings this week. And we're going to move on to the last part of the show, which is responding to your comments and questions from the previous episode. If you would like to have your comment or question responded to in the next episode, just hop into the comment section below. I almost said comments question. Hop into the comment section below and leave your thoughts on literally whatever, and I will respond to it. I would prefer it if it be on topic, like at least on anime topic. Like don't be like, hey man, what's your favorite Starbucks drink? Like, you know, it's a double chocolatey chip or peppermint mocha. There you go. There's your answer. But anyways, we're going to move on into the comments from last episode. We're going to start with Justin Channels. Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Greetings, although that is Rob's intro. It's not my intro. So unless you thought Rob was returning, he's not. Rob's been here. But anyways, I still appreciate it. Then we have Arc 1 only. Definitely excited for the Overlord movie, adapting the best arc of the series. Last week we talked about how Crunchyroll has licensed Haikyuu, Blue Lock, and Overlord to be released in North America, and I think just broadly in a bunch of other markets as well later this year. And I mentioned that I wasn't all that excited for the Overlord movie because I didn't really enjoy the Overlord anime all that much, and so I stopped watching it. But we have an Overlord fan here who is very excited for it, and so I'm very excited for you. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you like it. I will probably not be checking it out unless I hear it's like the greatest anime film of all time. Then we have Calvin KATT662, who says, welcome back. Thank you. Joey didn't he already return like a month ago? Must be a second coming. Well, I did return a month ago, but then it wasn't like a full-on like return I thought it would be. But that was me saying like, I don't know when I'm going to do the show, but like I now have time to do it sparsely. Now I have time to do the show weekly. And so I just have to like make sure I don't procrastinate, and then I can get the show done weekly. So this is like a full, I guess, return, as you would say. But as a Christian, I'm not going to respond to the second coming, but appreciate it. Clubs Kasabe 3450, who just says yay. So thank you. And thanks for all the comments, questions. Like I said, if you want to get yours read on the next one, just hop into the comment section below. Free of charge, nothing. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the Otaku Experience. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. And hey, if you want to keep up with me outside of this channel, you can subscribe to me on my main YouTube channel, Kingtanic. I'm working on a free run video that will hopefully be out before it gets irrelevant and I have to scrap the idea. Where I also make anime content, but in a less serious and professional way. You can also follow me on Instagram at Kingtanic. You can follow me on Twitter at Kingtanic Israel. And if you're new to the Burnettwork, consider sticking around. We have great shows for you to watch every single day. And with all that being said, guys, this episode comes to a close. I will see you all next time.